brewing good coffee at home. It's not that difficult. It's just as long as you follow couple guidelines or rules, you'll be sort of on your way to success. So first thing to really start with is starting with good quality coffee. You want to get coffee hopefully roasted by a smaller, like independent roaster. They tend to be roasted by hand and with care rather than big machines. So wherever you want to get that from. And make sure as fresh as possible. Coffee, sadly, as soon as it's roasted, it starts to degrade very quickly. All those sort of volatile oils and flavors, since the packaging is permeable, they tend to give off gases and you'll lose it. So anything, try and shoot for less than a week, if possible. Second thing that's really important is you want to, if possible, grind right before you brew. As soon as the coffee is ground, it really, more surface area, that degrading or the release of all these flavors happens very quick. So if you can, like a small home grinder would be great. Like the big first step. The third thing that's really important is your water quality. So coffee is around 98% just pure water. So if you can get either a water filter for the fridge or use filtered water, that'll definitely help with your flavor, and also consistency too. Just the tap water tends to change and you'll get that chlorine flavor, that minerally flavor. You want as pure as possible. First thing we're going to do is we're going to heat up all the vessels. Coffee getting to taste good every time, it's really about consistency. So if I know that I preheat it, and this is always around 200 degrees when I start, it'll help in repeating that flavor. And also for some filters, it helps to rinse out the paper just so you don't get that papery taste. Zero my scale. Okay. First thing, you want to just knock it on the side, making sure everything's completely level. Zero everything. And I'll also have a timer. Use your phone, either one. So the first portion of brewing is going to be called a bloom. What that is, so I just ground this, and so from the roasting process, what are you doing? You're actually cooking the coffee bean. You're creating a lot of carbon and like carbon dioxide just from that burning of like plant material. And what that does, it gets trapped inside the coffee cherry. So when I grind it, some of that gas is still in there. Now if you try and think like CO2 gas, if you try and add water to that, it tends to react and it doesn't tend to blend well. So we want to add a little bit of water to like fully release that gas. So the first part, so I'm just going to get all the coffee wet. If you see, it's sort of alive, it's bubbling. That's the CO2 releasing itself.
Okay.
Let it do that for about 30 seconds to a minute till it stops. Yeah.
How much degrees did you say it was, the water?
We're right around 205 degrees. Also very important, some of these sugars and oils, they only diffuse at certain temperatures. So for brewed coffee, we want to be right around 205.
Okay.
So all of the bubbling has stopped. Shoot for right in the middle. Starting in the center, and then working my way out towards the edge of the filter. Filling it about 3/4 of the way. If it's there, I'll stop and I'll let it go down. You kind of want it to be a wave cycle, just gently bringing it up, gently bringing it down. Now the stages that things are happening, no matter if it's brewed coffee or espresso, we pull out these flavors always in the same manner. So first we have these sort of sour, intense compounds. So we're pulling out mostly of those, and it's a little like higher concentration of coffee solubles to water. Then as we go down the line in time, we start hitting those like natural fruit sugars right around like the 2-minute mark. Following that, like the other more complex sugars, those we developed in roasting, the caramelization ones, they start to diffuse out. At this point, we're pulling less of these solids out and also adding more water.
Okay.
The third part is the bitter flavor compounds. At this point, it's really, they don't taste great on their own, but you really need all of these things combined in order to get a really nice balanced cup of all these little subtleties.